Hi, I'm Deb Antonick, and this is my demo for the Stampendous embossing powders, and just a quick little lesson on the different powders, how to use them, what we can use them on, and just a few basic steps on using them. So what I've got here is, the first is my Versamark stamping pad. It's a clear stamping pad. You can get them that maybe show up like a light gray or a light pink or something and then dry clear. But it's a special pad. It's a slow drying pad. And what it does is it allows the powder to stick to the ink that you place down. And then as you heat it, it just stays on there. So it's almost like an adhesive of sorts, but it is an oil-based ink pad. So the Versamark is the most common one that we will use. There's other brands, but this is the one that I use. Another product that I really like is the Stampendous Clear Embossing Ink. This is really, really cool because you can actually paint with this, or it has a little stamping sponge so you can daub on it, so you can actually have some fun with, stencils and a few other little things with this. So we'll do a quick demo on this and show you a few of the little embossing powders. These are some of the new kits that are available for 2022. The Autumn Fling, I believe, came out in the fall, but this is so fun. And they list the colors on the sides, and a lot of them do already come in the full size, the little full-size containers. Aged Spice, this is the aged gold, but there is an aged spice, so you can get your favorites in the full size. And, like this little one, this is this one is another one that's really pretty, Copper Tinsel. And it is available in one of the other kits, but not this one. But when you do find your favorites, you can find them. So this one is, like I said, the Autumn Fling. It has, these are sort of lots of glitters. So some of them are just an ultra fine glitter with color, and there's a couple that are the embossing enamels, which are the thicker, which I'll show you as well. Then the new is the Princess Halo. This is just all sparkly, just beautiful, almost like a shimmer, holographic type look. Very, very pretty, and all these beautiful colors. And these are mostly opaque, so they'll just go on very detailed, very crystal shapes, and beautiful, beautiful colors. And then this one I just love. This is my Spring Sparkle, and I'm actually going to demo these on a little bunny rabbit for you to see how these work. And so let's get started. First off is we're going to need our Versamark, and then we're going to need some stamps. So I've gone ahead and put the stamps on. The stamp names will be in the little banner at the bottom of the screen. So I've got one to show you how we can stamp the bigger items, and a little text to show you. And I have my favorite little cow. We're going to stamp him as well to see what kind of designs we can get. So to start with, on paper, it's just some basic scrapbook paper. So the easy technique is I'm going to take this brown piece, and I'm going to take white. I'm going to show you the detailed white, which does come in a lot of the little kits, but this is, the detailed white is what you would use if you just want a clear, crisp outline. And you can get it in several colors, but my favorites to always have are the detail white and the detail black, just for that perfect image. So I'm going to show you first the detail black with this cute little cow. So we're going to take this aside. So the cow, the stamp, and then you're also going to want to put a paper towel underneath, just because we're going to be working with the Versamark pad. We don't want to get the powder anywhere where we've had the ink other than on the pad, on the stamp. And I like using old coffee filters. These are great because when we sprinkle the powder on, we do put all the powder back in here, and then we put it back into our little containers. So a clean piece of paper, some with a fold in the middle, but if you've got coffee filters, these are fabulous. So those are the tools that we need right now. So I'm going to take my pad, and I'm just going to stamp it. It's clear, but you can see the moisture on your piece. So it's just clear, and you can see it when we do stamp it. So I'm going to get my little piece of cardstock here, stamp my cow, give it a little bit of pressure, but don't wiggle it around, don't slide it. And you can see, I think you can see a little bit. I'll bring it up if you can see. You can see how it's shiny. So you do know where your image is. And like I said, it's slow drying, so you do have a little bit of time. There's no need to panic. So then we're going to take our powder. We're just going to take the lid off. And don't be shy, like don't do this little sprinkle bit. We're going to pour it on there. I've been known to even empty these. I'm going to give it a shake. This one sat for a bit. They don't go bad, but they might, you know, harden up a little bit here and there and get some chunks. Beautiful. See? This powder. Very carefully store your container with the lid on. Then I take my coffee filter. I'm just going to tap it off. Tap off my excess. So that's what you're going to get. It's stuck to all the little lines. And then before I do anything, because I know that if you've ever had to pick this stuff up, you don't want to ever have to do it again. So I'm going to put it back into my container. A little bit gets away, but that's better than none. And I obviously, how can I get more back in there? That was the chunks. So anyway, I'm not going to worry about this as long as I've got most of it back, which I have. That's because it fluffed back up again. Very funny. So then I'm going to take this aside right now just because I want to get rid of that powder quickly. So always have something underneath. Now we're going to take our heat gun. So I use a Wagner heat gun. They're heat embossing tools. You can't take a regular hair dryer. You want a tool that is designed for heat embossing. So the Wagner heat tool is my favorite when I do my embossing. And another one that you can use is the Ranger Heated Craft Tool. Both of them will do the same. This one I just find, for me, it goes a little bit faster, but they both work. And we're going to turn it on. And to start with too is, well, you don't want to go like this. You don't want to be wiggling all over the place. You want to start your heat and start in one section, and when you see it start to melt, then you slowly start moving it. So you can watch. You'll see it all start to melt. Don't put your fingers in there. And it's starting to melt now. It's that quick. So now it is a bit raised, so you can actually hold it up in the light and you can see it's shinier than it was because now it has a sheen because it melted. And don't put your fingers in it, let it cool off. And then once it's cool, you can do all sorts of really fun things. And then you can paint it. You can do whatever you want with it. I like using a detail black. If you ever want to stamp on a surface that maybe you're just not getting a good image on, if you do an embossing with a stamp like this with the black, you often will have a better chance of getting a nice clean image. So that's on paper, but it also works on white. And I'm going to do it now with the white one. Put my paper the way it's supposed to be folded. So I'm going to do the white detail and show you on the black. And this is just on wood. So this is painted wood. Works exactly the same. Get my little cow. Put my pad over it again. When you're finished, you will want to wipe these off with a baby wipe because it's kind of greasy and you can feel this ink for quite some time. Put it on wood. So fun. Same thing. You can sort of see it. You have to kind of move it around. You see he's on there. So now I'm going to get my paper. I think I'm going to give it a shake too, just to make sure. So it fluffs up. Put it on there. And these last a long time. So there. Now if you've got little bits that you want to make sure that you can get off of there, I just take a mop brush or a small mop brush and I can just take these off. Little spots. But I'm not going to be too worried. If you've got a chunk somewhere that you need to take off, then you can wipe it off. But this cleans it off. Just try not to go over the piece that you've already got. And same, I'm going to heat it up with my heat gun. And just to show you the difference, I will use the heated tool on this one, just to show you they both work. This one's just a little slower. So this is nice if you've got maybe some glitters or enamels that you just kind of want to move around a little bit as you go. So I'm going to start it. Once it starts to melt, I'm going to start moving it around. There it goes. So you can see it. If you're watching it, you can see it. And by starting in one spot, you can actually start to follow it. So I chase it, basically. Here. So when you stand back and you look at it and you hold it up, you look for any places that still look powdery. So if anything looks powdery, you can just continuously reheat it if you wanted to. So this one is perfect, and he turned out really quite good. This is great for snowflakes, just so you know. Okay, so that's my little cow. So now that's the opaque. So let's try some of the fun little sparkles. Go in here to the autumn one. Now there's one in here called Aged Gold, which is actually an embossing enamel. And what it has that's different than the other ones is it's chunky. And you want to keep them in here. This is the seasonings, which is the bottom one. And what you do is you peel these little labels. You can cut them out and they will stick on the sides of these little containers so that you know what they are. So that way they don't get mixed up. So it's kind of a good idea to put those on first. And then I'm going to take, I'm going to take this. So this is an ornament that I stamped. And this is something that I like to do, and especially with these ones that are the chunkier ones. Just to show you, it's a great way to finish off an ornament. If you want to add a little something, like say this one has a topper. I might want to paint that gold when I do my ornament piece. So what I'm going to do here, put a piece of Post-it note there. Then I'm going to take I can take this. This is my stamping, or I can use my ink pad as well. And I can go, going to work now, so I just lightly pitty pat, like a sponge dauber. It's like your bingo dauber. And then when you stand back, you can see that the whole surface is wet. So I'm going to take these chunky seasonings, and I'll show you. They got chunks in them. So there's a lot of stuff to melt in here, which is going to be really fun. So take my paper, put this over top, and be generous because there's a lot of different bits that need to go on here because they're fine and chunky. And shake it off. And see that? So now I'm going to take my Post-it note off, and it's clean. So I have a nice crisp line right there. And if I didn't, I would just I might take my little angle brush or something and just, go along to make sure I've cleaned that edge off nice. Now this one to heat, this one I do find works better with the heat gun for the Wagner one. And if you watch this one, this is really fun. Look at that melt, eh? And it's almost like it gives you a metal look. That's why I like it for toppers. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that cool? Gives you almost a hammered metal type look. So I like that, especially for ornaments. So that's another fun little idea. Bigger piece. So this is quite a detail. This is a beautiful little rose. Like I said, the stamp number will be in the banner across the bottom of the video. So to do a bigger piece, I'm going to show you both ways. This is a surface that I have painted. So put my ink pad on here, like so. So I'm quite generous, but I'm not pouncing it on so it's really juicy. And put it right side up, of course. Put it down. No pressure, lift. And again, it's on white, but you can see it very slightly in there. A little bit, if the light hits it right. And I am going to put one of the Prince ones. This I'm going to do green. Just because, pick a different color. If I wanted to, I could stamp this and mask off areas and then do some of it red, some of it green. You can take a lot of time and do some fun things. If you're ever uncertain, give it a little bit of a shake. Tap it off. Now here I've got a little bit of a spot here. So just to be sure, it's just powder. You take it off. Blow on it too, so if anything's loose, it'll go away. All right. So now I'm going to heat this one, and you can do easy either or. this one is more of a detail one, which is really pretty as well. It's got a very vintage look to it. And that looks really nice. And I could paint this too. I could go in and I could paint. I could also add other colors. And this is something actually that I have done. And I'm going to do that to show you just a little something different. So with your pad, and if you have a palette of some sort, I'm going to use my package here. This is something fun you can do. So you can put a little bit onto a palette, just a little bit. And I could take a small brush and pick this up just like I was going to paint. And as an example, this is, you can actually spend a lot of time doing this. But I could take, say, this part of my rose, and I could paint it with this. You can actually see it. It's clear. You can't maybe see it on the camera, but you can see it. It's clear. And this shows you that you can actually emboss more than once. So this is how you can actually paint with it. It's more fun if you put it on your palette. And then I'm going to get, I took the green out of there. So let's try, oh, this beautiful burgundy color. That's from the same kit. Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to take glitter. I think we need some glitter. Let's do yellow. Just to show you the shimmery glitters. So now the other was dry, so I'm perfectly safe to do this. Got my powder on. I've got the clean paper. Tap it off. And you can see that. How pretty is that? And so that's something that you could do for fun as well. There's, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can paint this entire thing. I have done that as demos before. It's very painstaking, but it is a lot of fun. So that, another idea.